Today on the Topping Show, New York goes viral for giving illegal migrants free bail after gun and drug charges, while Subway defender Daniel Petty got about a $100,000 bail. Planet Fitness boycott heats up as a member takes pictures of his junk in the changing room. Ron DeSantis leans into a Babylon Bee meme and goes viral subsequently. Vivek on the U.S. government and the taxpayers giving Ukraine about another $100 billion of aid. Spotify to raise prices yet again, but that actually helps their stock. Amazon to move away from just the walk-in technology at grocery stores, and Disney rebuffs an activist investor Nelson Putz. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Spotify increasing their prices yet again, which might not be the worst thing for the company because it helped their stock bump up pretty good. Now, Spotify, for those who don't know, is awesome, partially because this show is on the Spotify, or some people call it the Spotify, but it's one of the most successful streaming platforms, bar none. Really, their race to fame, realistically to me, came from them signing an exclusivity contract with Joe Rogan a couple years ago, which is the number one podcaster on the planet. That's really when I think Spotify kind of just grew into the stratosphere, especially just with word of mouth and everyone wanting to tune into Joe Rogan had to go on Spotify to actually hear him. Now, they no longer have an exclusivity contract with Joe, though they still handle his media distribution. It's now back on YouTube. But you also have good thing working out for Spotify. Google Podcasts is gone. So that's where a lot of people used to tune in for podcasts. That subsequently, Google killed that product and they want you to now tune into Google Music. So again, a lot of people are just going to Spotify because, again, wise old man once said, there's an old saying about the devil you know, so to say. And people know Spotify already. So there's a lot of things working for them. Now, this was first reported thanks to Chen over at LinkedIn News. They know that the streaming giants' prices are going up $1 to $2 in the UK, Austria, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Ghana this month, according to Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal, both citing anonymous sources. The US will see a price bump later this year. Currently, subscribers can listen to 15 hours of audiobooks at no additional cost, and the price hike could be used to cover Spotify's publisher payments. They also know that the Swedish company also plans to introduce a basic subscription tier that excludes all audiobooks for $11 per month. Which, again, the biggest misconception about these type of streaming platforms is they're highly profitable and they get all the money. They make the least amount of money at the end of the day in terms of when you give them $1. Most of it goes to the company that owns the intellectual property, aka the music and the podcast, and the big companies that own some of the largest music portfolios out there are, things like Warner Brothers Studios, as well as Sony. I mean, Sony just spent, $740 million for, I believe, it's half of Michael Jackson's catalog. So most of that money is not going to Spotify. Now, don't get me wrong, they're still, moderately profitable, but they're struggling to grow. And interestingly enough, some people thought, well, maybe the increase in this price will drive consumers away. Maybe we should sell the stock. Nope, it went up by about 8%. And truth be told, in terms of the week average, it went up by 16% last week, which is phenomenally good. Now, granted, hindsight's always 20/20 when it comes to investing. In the past year to date, it's up 60%. In the past 1 year, it's up 123%. 5-year trend is up 100%. And then the max, of course, it's still pretty good, up 104.16%. So it'll be interesting to see how many people will actually pay for the premium subscription. I mean, anecdotally speaking, I know very few people actually pay for Spotify Premium. Truth be told, I just use the free version because it's good enough. And usually when I'm listening to podcasts, it's just windshield time when, I'm driving with, using my little Honda Civic with 3 pedals like every car should be by default and just kind of rolling through the gears and getting to customer meetings. So I don't mind if there's a little extra commercial in there. But let me know, have you ever paid for Spotify Premium, and would you? And do you know anyone who ever has? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.